right, I'm going to start it now.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, want to welcome everyone to my office hours. We got myself on. Brian Williams is here.
Hey.
Hey, and then Fletch is going to be joining us shortly, as soon as he can. So we're going to do a lot of questions and answers today. Hopefully, we're going to do some hot seats. I have right here on the screen. Let me show my screen. All right, can everyone see my screen and more importantly hear me? Just give me a 1 in the question box if you can see my screen. All right, Fran, good to see you, Fran. Yes, Shelly, Connie, Dominique, Steve, Luke. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks, man. We got a really nice crowd piling in today, so it's going to be a really good office hours. So I kind of have this slide up here, and it's what I put in the Facebook thread, and I actually saw this posted on somebody's wall, and it really is what people sometimes don't understand. You know, everyone wants to be successful until they see what it actually takes. And, you know, we see people who make money, we see people who succeed, and we think, man, how'd they do that? Like, you know, why are they so lucky? But what we don't see is what's behind it, you know, where the scars, the bruises, the setbacks that they have. I mean, every single person that's had success has had to go through something. And you know, I talk to every once in a while. I'll talk to people on Facebook when I have time, or on Skype. And you know, sometimes people will be like, "Listen, I want to do this. I just want you to take away all the problems or obstacles for me." And the thing is I can't take away the obstacles. Like, I can tell you what I've done. Brian can tell you what he's done. But things are going to come up. You know, situations are going to come up that you have to figure out, that you have to work around. That's just the nature of business. And it's those that stick through it that make it to the end, and then don't stop. I mean, of course, we're here for you when you do hit an obstacle and you do have questions, but you know, you have to break through. Like, people see me, you know, I have one niche I'm in. I'm making, you know, 30,000 a month in lead gen. Wow, you know, how do you do that? Like, I want to be in that niche, or I want to. But what you don't see is that I've been doing this for a few years, and I've lost over 100 lead gen sites. I mean, there was an update, I don't know what it was, a year and a half or 2 years ago, and I had 100 exact match domain sites up, and they all went down. Well, not all of them, probably about 90% of them went down. So from that experience, I was able to figure out, okay, what else do I need to do to you know, keep going, or to redo this. And I actually came up with ways that were way better than I had before. You know, I learned how to use AdWords, combine it with retargeting. I learned, you know, how to build a large authority site. I realized that I have to make my stuff look as real as possible. You know, and it hurt, but I still have my clients, and I still had my business. So you know, I had things set up so that even though they went down, I could recover quickly. So I don't know. That's my little spiel for before the webinar. So let me see here. I know we had somebody in the Facebook group that wanted to come on the hot seat pretty fast.
Yeah, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe. This is Brian speaking. How are you? I actually reached out to Carol. She's in the audience waiting for us to bring her on live here. So if you want and you were ready, you want to start with that hot seat, and we can jump into that, or how do you want to work it?
Yeah, I'll let's we got some questions coming up here, but I'd like to start off with that hot seat because I know she said it's pretty early I think it's like 1 in the morning for her, or it's pretty late. So who was it? Carol Stone?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Carol.
Yep, that's correct.
All right, so I'm going to mute her now.
It is.
So hopefully she has her microphone on.
Yeah, she's all ready to go.
All right, let's hit her up here. All right, hey Carol, how you doing?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. Little frustrated, but good.
All right. Well, where are you calling in from?
I'm in Spain.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice. So it's definitely late over there right now, huh?
Yeah, it's 1 a.m., but it's okay. I go to bed really late anyway, so it's not a problem.
All right. So Carol, I know you mentioned in the Facebook group you were a little frustrated. So, what is it exactly we can help you with?
Well, I would like you to take a look at my my business website. So I've only just started working on it, even though I've had it for a year, and just to tell me where I'm going wrong and what I need to do. But I'm getting a bit frustrated with the techie stuff in the back office, and I don't understand Yoast tonight. I don't understand.
So
not really.
So is this your SEO site, or what site is this? Is this your?
It's just my local business site because I'm a massage therapist.
Oh, massage
Basically,
therapist. Okay.
yeah. So my plan is to rank this one, and then I can show I can rank sites and then go and sell the leads, and then
so let's see. What's your website? What's your website?
Holistic Stone.
Holistic Stone.
HolisticStone.net.
Okay, so is this it right here?
Yeah, it's pretty naff. The YouTube is not my YouTube. I just stuck that, well, actually an outsourcer did it about a year ago, and he did no optimization whatsoever. But I also have another website called holisticstone.com, which was built in 2007, but now I can't contact the guys who made it, and it's a static HTML site.
Okay, I mean, do you have the domain for that site? I mean, is it registered in your own account, or do they own the domain?
No, it's nothing to do with me. They've just sort of, and it's up for domain renewal in August, so I'm imagining they're just not going to renew it. So that's why I wanted to rank this one.
All right.
Before that one goes.
So let's concentrate on this one for right now. So you're saying this video is not your video, it's just one you got from YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, so if someone watches this video, is it going to do anything for your site or for your business for them to call you?
No.
No. Okay, so then we probably don't want to have that there. And then Brian, you cop in anytime too.
I do.
Oh, good.
Sorry?
I was just telling Brian he could hop in anytime.
Okay. I do have a rather naff PowerPoint video that I made myself, which is actually on the second page, I think. But it's pretty bad.
So
but it's just a PowerPoint with words on.
Okay, so I mean, here's the thing: is when you're doing something with a local business, right? And you're a holistic massage therapist, you want to be able to connect with who's coming to your site. So this video is not connecting with anybody. So even if it's a PowerPoint video that's talking about your business, it's going to be better than that. What I would say, but what I would say is you can do a Google Hangout, prepare a script of don't get the a 1 minute or 2 minute talking about what makes you different than everybody else, and Why
Yeah,
people
I did
trust
think
you.
of that, actually.
And then right there, that you're making a connection
Mhm.
by doing that
Yeah.
in the video. And
Mhm.
the other thing I would say too is you want to make this phone number stand out, right? So
It used to stand out, but stupidly I changed the title the other day, and now I didn't have the title that the guy had before, so I need to sort the the title pick out. It used to stand out, and now it doesn't.
yeah. So like what you want to do is you want to close your eyes when you're looking at this, right? You want to open it.
Mhm.
And where do your eyes go first? Right? So where and you want to make it so that when you open your eyes go to your call to action and your number or your contact. Like, you have here call for appointment. I'd say, call now and then put the number.
Yeah.
And then make it really stand out so they can see it. And you want to make it so you could connect as much as possible with the people, like, because they're going to be looking for a massage therapist, right? And they're gonna see you, even if you're ranked number 1, they're going to see you, and they're going to see 9 other people on page 1. They're probably going to look at a few other sites. What can you do to make it stand out that they want to use you instead of them?
Yeah. The phone number is a bit further down on where the first bit of writing is on the top there.
Yeah, I see it here. I see it there, and I think you got it right here also. So.
I know the pictures need changing as well, and they're optimized as in the keyword optimized, but the site loads pretty slow, so I need to sort that out as well. But because it's a premium theme, there's a mobile version, which is great.
Hey, Carol?
Yeah.
Carol, I'm going to back up a bit. Why are you a massage therapist?
Why am I?
Yeah, why are you a massage therapist?
Oh, I love it. I do love my job, but I don't want to do it all day, every day, because there's just no money in it. That's why I'm thinking about SEO now. But I do love my job.
What do you love about it?
I just love helping people and love seeing the before and after effects. And when someone comes in with a bad back and they can hardly move, and just seeing, it's just makes me so happy to see them afterwards.
Yeah. Can you give me an example of, without mentioning anybody's name, but an example of like a story about something that you did for somebody that really helped them, be better?
Oh, there's loads, especially with reflexology. It's reflexology helps when people have gone
Tell
to
me
the
about
doctor.
tell me about one of your clients. Tell me about one of your clients and what you've been able to do with them with reflexology.
Well, I do have a current reflexology client actually, and she came to me. Actually, she went to the doctor here, and he basically just gave her painkillers, but her neck was all swollen, and she had swollen glands, and she could hardly move through. I don't know, she just couldn't move to put her clothes on. All her limbs were aching. And I did 2 reflexology sessions on her within a week, and she was just, her glands went down, and she was just really, really happy. Because she just tried everything else and, was on vitamins and whatever.
Wow. So here's what I want you to do. This webinar is being recorded, and this recording will be up in the members area within the next couple of days. So watch this part of the recording and listen to yourself talk about your love for what you do with massage therapy, and then make a video just like how you were talking to us here live on this webinar. And maybe even get this client of yours to either write, or better yet, speak on camera and have her say in her own story, in her own way, what the treatment has done for her.
Yeah.
And put that on your homepage. as your
Okay.
video. And don't worry about, if it's, professional, just make it real, make it from the heart, just like you were telling us here, because everybody listening on this call, we've got over 100 people, they get it, right? If they were in your area and they needed to see a massage therapist, they would hire you because they can tell you care. And that's when people buy. So make a video just like you just did right here. You've got your copy. You don't need anything more. So that's number one.
Okay.
And get rid of this 30-minute YouTube video that isn't, like Joe was saying, is not doing anything for your business. And then
Yeah, I do on my Facebook page, my Google Plus page that are on the top there. I do actually have reviews on both of those.
yeah, we'll see if this patient, you could just tell this one story that you just told us, and that right there is just liquid gold when it comes to connecting with and selling your service, because people that hire someone like you, they want to know you care and why you care. And I understand you want to go into SEO, which I think is fantastic. I mean, that's what we all do here. But it sure wouldn't hurt if you had more clients coming in for your massage therapy business. And if you can help yourself in this business, maybe you could help other people in the healing or massage or holistic medicine or other related industries, all who need customers, by the way. So, so if you can help yourself out first here with some of the tips that Joe and I and Fletch jumps on that he will give you, then, I would do that kind of a video right away. And if you get stuck, just listen to yourself talk here on this webinar. You basically created your sales video.
Okay.
Just have to add a call to action at the end. If you like to get the same healing benefits as as my patients, as my clients, call me, and you might want to also think about an offer. You don't have to go crazy with it, but maybe first-time clients get a certain discount or something like that. I wouldn't hesitate to throw something like that in.
Yeah.
And
I don't actually have Webmaster Tools or Analytics on this. Should I?
yeah, I mean, I would put that on. I mean, this is your site, right? This is your business. And I know people get nervous about, oh, I don't want Google knowing what I do. But listen, if it's your money site, you want to be like other money sites, other businesses. What do? They put analytics on and they put Webmaster Tools, and then you can see the traffic. And then everybody listening to what Brian just said, I mean, the way he was actually drawing Carol out to find out, what is her unique selling proposition? What is it that gives her passion for her business? And this is how you draw out a client, or even talk to a client who, like, they have a site like this and they're, well, it's not converting. How do I get it to convert? Well, you have to find out, like, and then Carol too, like, what makes the client, why are they in that business? What makes them different than everybody else? And then you put that on the website, or you put that in a video. I mean, videos that are done by a person are really, really powerful by the owner.
Yeah, no, actually. Just haven't done it a bit shy.
Yeah. I mean, you could do a Google, you could do a Google Hangout, and like Brian was saying, right? Follow what he said. Put that on your website, and you could rank that pretty quick, and you'd probably be getting phone calls, right, just from that video. And I wouldn't stress out over the site where you get paralyzed. I would make some changes right away, put a big old phone number on there, and then make the changes as you go.
You can even have a friend interview you on a Google Hangout, just like I just did here, and you just answer the questions just like you answered here.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can be shy, but you care. It's all good. So.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I must do it.
Yeah, and actually, Carol, I have a guy that does interviews that is really good. He's on YouTube. He's real. I mean, he's interviewed Ron Paul. He's interviewed some guys from Van Halen. But he'll do the interview, recording and hand you a video at the end for like $50 or $60. So I mean, yeah, if you don't want to do a hangout, you do something like that, and you can get it, or have a friend do it. But it just that's a real easy way to really start getting things to convert.
Okay.
Joe, you've been holding out on me. I didn't know you had a guy like that.
Yeah, I'll give you his info. He's really good.
I need him like tomorrow. Like.
Okay, dude, he's excellent. He's excellent.
All right. Yeah. Look at this, Joe, my buddy. Hey, holding out on me.
I know. I use him all the time, man. I love. He makes my life so much easier.
Oh my gosh, I would love somebody like that to interview me about all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean,
that's when the magic happens.
Oh, and then you post it, and people don't know that it wasn't like a radio station or like they don't know who in it. But he's good. Someone asked who it is. The guy's name is Don Harold. I don't know, Don Harold, and he's on YouTube. He's big in the gold and silver market, and he's been at CNN and everything else. But he does these. I mean, he does them pretty cheap. I don't know. He just likes doing them, I guess. But I'll try to pull up his email, and then I'll drop it in the question box. But so Carol, does that help you out?
Yeah, but I've still got lots of questions.
Okay, well, go ahead, shoot us a couple more questions.
Okay, well, in my actual pages, I mean, is that front page set up for good optimization the way it is? I mean, it's a premium site, so I'm hoping it is, but I really need to sort out the content, but in the content I'm not interlinking the pages. Should I be doing that? As in the content saying, if it's about aromatherapy massage, then you'd say, well, look at the hot stone massage page and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you should interlink. I mean, the site isn't set up for optimization. It's not optimized right now. Like right here, can you see my arrows? You see this title tag? You want to put so Marabella is where you live?
Marbella.
Yeah. So you want to put, I would put, the first thing I would put is Marbella massage, or your main keyword in there. And have you watched the old Over the Shoulder series that me and Greg did for Iowa City SEO? Are you in?
I think so. Yeah.
Are you in Breakthrough or Project X or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
Breakthrough.
Here was what I would do is I would watch that series, because what it's going to do is going to show you from A to B how we set that up. And when you watch that, you'll see how to create your pages, how to create your site, optimize your site, how to do all the things you need to do to get it up to where it needs to be.
Yeah, with this theme though, I'm not sure they can be siloed.
I mean, don't worry about the silo. Don't worry about it. I mean, silo's good, but it's not, absolutely necessary. Iowa City SEO isn't siloed. I have sites that are not siloed. You could manually silo a site, but right now what you need to do is you need to get the basic optimization down, and you need to get some kind of conversion down. So I'm going to tell you, this is what I want you to do, okay? I'm going to give you the plan, and then you could come back next week, and you can message me after you do these things. One, I want you to make some kind of video. Either do a Google Hangout or get somebody to interview you. We had someone here offer to interview you, Tracy Thomas, so maybe you guys could connect on Facebook. But no, I want you to do that, okay? And then I want you to optimize that video correctly. I have videos on how to optimize your video, so I want you to do that. You're putting your right description and everything else. Then I want you to watch that series on Iowa City SEO and make the changes to your site to to get it optimized. And then also, what I like to see you do is try to get this number right here fixed, if you can. And you could always you could find, if you don't know how to fix this, you can find people on Odesk, or I think even sometimes Fiverr, that will make little changes for you for not that much money. I mean, not but I wouldn't get crazy with the redesign right now. Those are the things I would do. And Brian, I don't know if you have anything else that you'd throw in there.
Also, the blog, I deleted the blog. Sorry.
And Fletch also joined us, so I think he's on. Looks like he's on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just jumped on, guys. Yeah.
All right, great. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a great start.
Yeah. I mean that's what I would start doing, because I think that's going to get you kind of going up and where you need to be. I mean.
Yeah, I also deleted the blog, and I don't know how to get the blog back. I deleted the page, and now it goes to 404.
Okay, that's going to be in your menu area. So what I would, yeah, I mean, because what you do is the blog right there is, if you go into the menu, you can take out this off your menu, because you got rid of the blog altogether, or do you want to put the blog back?
I think I want to put it back, because then I can be putting stuff on it to keep it optimized, couldn't I?
Yeah. So let me. Hey, Fletch.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, do we have any training in Breakthrough or Director's Cut that just goes through the ABCs of setting up a WordPress blog?
Yeah, we do. I'll poke in there real quick and get the actual directions to it. You're talking about just all the, like, setting up your no follow do index, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think even
like the WordPress settings.
Yeah, like WordPress things, or even like she has a question about, she deleted her blog, and now on the when you hit the blog page, it goes to a 414 redirect. So yeah, she deleted the actual page called blog that you have the blog roll pointed to. Yeah, we've got some stuff on that. I'll go grab that real quick, and you could PM me too if you have any trouble with that. I do things like that all the time, so I'm pretty familiar with that. Get it back. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, and then too, also Nayan Nugan, if I pronounced her name right, she said she can do help you out with that also if you contact her on Facebook. NHAN.
Help with what?
Help you with your website, like these little things we got here. She said.
Yeah, one thing, Carol, and for everybody listening, on these things like with your website, when something goes wrong with like you delete your blog, or your phone number is too small and you can't figure out what happened, or don't let those things stop you. If you get stuck on something for more than this is what Fletch and Joe and I do. If we get stuck on something for more than probably 15 minutes, we'll just either, the proverbial call a friend, or in OMG, you can just post it in the Facebook group, and you'll probably get, 2 or 3 people that can either come to your aid immediately or tell you exactly what probably went wrong, because we've all probably done exactly the same mistake and had to do the same thing at some point. So, we can't stress how often we make the same exact types of mistakes that you guys are also running into. So don't let those things stop you.
Okay. Thanks. Also, someone gave me some expired tumblers which had got good DA or PA or whatever. Anyway, I pointed them to this site, so they're now all on. Like if you search for me, they come up. Is that going to negatively affect my site?
Well, I mean, if they're coming up and they're your properties, you know, that's just more properties you can put on page one. You know.
Okay, it's not going to negatively affect me.
No, it's not going to affect you. No, I mean, it's good. Like, you could try and rank those Tumblr blogs. You know, I have a lot of times where I have multiple spots on page one. You know, so just make sure the content on there is good content. You know, if it's
no
coming up.
content, it's basically just an advert for this.
Okay.
What I do, phone number.
All right.
But they're all showing up on the first few pages, which is great.
Yeah, that's great.
But,
so that's just more ways for people to see you. So,
okay.
so what we're going to do is, let's do this. So what I want you to do is I want you to just do those few things I said, and that'll get you to a point where we can continue either next week or, you know, you could contact me or something. But I think that will get you going. We're gonna create a video. Either you're gonna do a Google Hangout or you're gonna get an interview. You're gonna check out the Iowa City SEO series, and you're gonna see how to set up your WordPress blog. And you know what you want to do is, the first part about it I show how to set up local directories, but the part what Greg does is he shows the website setup. So that's what you want to watch, and then you're gonna connect with someone to help you. You know, Fletch is going to send you some videos on how to do some basic edits on WordPress, and then if you connect, you know, if you could connect with Nan Nugent, and then you know, they can help you with what you you know, also help you set this up. So I think we're good to go for right now, huh?
Can I just ask you one more question, please?
Sure. Sure.
I don't understand much about sending backlinks to your backlinks. Can you explain that, please?
Okay, so that's basically second tier linking, which you don't have to worry about this next week, but it's basically saying that if you send your Tumblr links to your site, then you send links to Tumblr. So those will be backlinking.
So how would I
your
do that?
Well, you can do that with another Tumblr blog. You can do that with different things.
So I would basically put on an article, and in that article I would have the URL to the Tumblr blog that's linking to my website. Yeah? Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, you'd put an article in, say, a WordPress blog, and that would link to your Tumblr blog. Then your Tumblr blog would link to your money site, so you have tiered linking.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, they cover that pretty much in Greg covers that, and Network Empire. But don't get distracted with that. You don't need that right now. What you need to do this week is work on your conversion and work on getting that video up, and then worry about that. All right?
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot for coming on, Carol.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Fletch. Thanks, Brian.
Very welcome.
All right. All right. And then, yeah, so maybe we should get into some of these questions here, huh?
Yeah, I answered a few while we were going here, Joe. There's one at the very, very, very top directed at you that started, actually got at 4:55 before we even launched, that you might want to handle up there.
Okay.
Way up at the top.
I see.
See that from Paul?
Paul D. Says, hi, the larger site that you set up with Chris Marshall that you spoke about on Sunday's Webby, is the site on a subdomain of the money site or total separate site? What's the best practice when setting up the large sites, subdomain or separate? Okay, now on this, it's called Medical Truths Revealed is the site. And what this is, it's basically let's see, let me bring it up here. It's basically a site that has 26,000 pages, and we use Krista's software. It's not on a subdomain. It's on a regular site. And it's ranking for all kinds of terms and for long tail, and it gets into all these little cities. I use these sites I have a reason why I use these sites. These are not my main money sites. These are not sites that I generally sell to clients. These are sites that I use to just cover a large area. In this case, we were using it for Amazon. And so what I'm doing is I'm combining this site with retargeting. So when someone comes on this site, we drop a retargeting pixel on them. So I build my retargeting list. But I also capture people who are looking for Botox, and then we bring them over to another site that we try to convert them on Elite Serum, the anti-aging cream. So, you know, this type of large site, I just put it on a regular domain.
And for those that don't know, what is that software that Chris has?
Local Explosion.
Yes.
Yeah, local, and you know, there's a lot of people too that are, you know, there's an update coming out like this doorway update. I don't know how it's going to affect it. You know, it may take all these pages down. That's why when you know, this type of site is not my main source of income at all. It's like it's a way of just covering more or filling in some gaps. You know, but the update might come and nothing may happen, or it may come and it may not work. But this site took me a total of probably, I don't know what it took me on the videos, but if I wasn't doing the videos, this site would have took me about 20 minutes to put up, you know, and probably $10 for the content, and you know, and that's it. So, all right, let's see here.
Okay, we have a question from Kathy Bales, and she's asking, I'll just read it and then we can all pitch in here. My question is on Web 2.0. I need to point some of my YouTube and Amazon and product websites. How many Web 2.0 properties do I need to have? How many pages on each do I need to create? Brad said to not use money keywords in the links, so I'm thinking content needs to be niche related but not specific to my product. Is this correct? Who wants to start?
Okay. All right, let's see.
I could jump on it. I typed up a little bit for Kathy too, but
Okay.
yeah, in a situation like that with Web 2s, and with PBNs, it's a question I get a lot. It's like, how many links do I need? Well, you need as many as you need. You know, you've got to build it and track it and see what happens. Every keyword, every city, every nuance is going to be different. You know, the algorithms kind of, you know, there's some variations depending on some certain things, but you know, in general, it's one of those questions that each situation's different. Each city's different. If you're ranking local, each keyword's different, and it just kind of depends. So that's kind of one of the reasons why Greg talks about really tracking and keeping, you know, good records of, you know, what links you built from where to where, especially with your PBNs. But even some of the more powerful Web 2.0 properties, it'll just the better, you know, the better records you have for that stuff, the quicker you'll start to get a feel for really how much you have to do. And in a situation like that, you don't need to have keywords as the anchor text. You can, but it does count towards your anchor text. So if they're not going to be a particularly powerful link, you may want to use a little more generic anchor text so that you can keep, you know, some of the more specific keywords coming from, you know, your more powerful links to really kind of juice up the rankings for that. And then content. Yeah, always thematic content is going to give you more power, more influence, more trust than stuff that's more generic or even off topic. So I think that might cover all of those.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And we got another one up here. Let me see. Just
Norman Ho has kind of a similar question. We can probably answer related to what Kathy just asked.
about the steps you go through to rank an Amazon product page on Google. Do you use PBN links? Well, you rank a lot of product pages, don't you, Brian?
Yeah, so I do use, so when I rank an Amazon sales page, I do send, like Fletch just said, I send as many PBN links as are needed. So I usually start with one and wait, for at least a week or two. And then that didn't do the job, I'll send another one. And those are really contextually relevant to the product niche. And the only links I ever send to an Amazon sales page that are anchor keyword loaded are PBN links. I don't. All the other link building I do to an Amazon sales page is completely non-keyword related. It's just generic, click here's, et cetera, et cetera. I do not use GSA. That's not to say that it doesn't work. I just don't. That's not my preferred method. I also I do use Web 2.0 sites quite extensively to increase the page authority of the Amazon sales page. And like Fletch said, it could take 5 Web 2.0 sites. It could take 105. Really don't know until you get into it. And I also don't send any, as I said, no anchor text from those sites to my Amazon page. I found that by writing good copy on the Amazon page and making sure that the keywords that are important to me are in there somewhere, primarily at least once in the description of the Amazon page, that's all I really need to worry about when it comes to the keywords by and large.
All right, that sounds good. And then you also, do you ever use like Money Robot to go to your Amazon page?
Yeah, I use Money Robot, which is a tool that creates Web 2.0 properties. So that is a tool that that you can look into. I would only caution everybody in that I don't use the tool the way that most people use that type of a tool. Joe and you and I have shared some information behind the scenes about how I use a tool like that. I don't just, and I think I posted something in response to someone today in the Facebook group, actually, on the Amazon's Facebook group, that was asking about that tool. I don't just, punch in my keyword and my money site and hit go. I spend quite a bit of time massaging and crafting the content that I publish using a tool like that before it ever goes out into the webosphere. So, I could go on I could do a 2-hour training or more on how I use Money Robot to do that, but and maybe I will. But
hey,
just suffice it.
Would you do a training for us on Money Robot? I mean, not today, but
I'd be happy.
How about
I'd be happy to, but
let's get a hashtag. Let's get a hashtag going. So if you guys want Brian to do a module, we'll do a module together on how he uses Money Robot, because let me tell you, he uses it different than I do, and he has an awesome way that he uses it. So let's do a hashtag. I don't know what hashtag should we do? Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Let's do it. So there you go.
Brian needs to keep his mouth shut.
Do it. Hashtag show me the money. So let's go in the Facebook group, and we want to do hashtag show me the money. Yeah.
So it's like any tool, though. I mean, whatever you're using, whether it's GSA or whatever 3-letter acronym you're using, put some care into it. Don't expect that you can just hit the easy button and magic will happen and money's going to start pouring out of your monitor. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
You got to get some bloody toes, just like Joe's pitcher.
That's it, man. We got to do it. So let's So hopefully we got some hashtags going on here, and bring this up. Yeah, okay, so we got some going, so that's good. So we're gonna have to see a lot though. I want to see at least 100. Man, we got over 100 people on here, so I want to see at least 100 people for a hashtag, and we'll get Brian. We'll run a really nice module on that. All right, so let's see. I got another question.
But because it's OMG, I'm going to add the word either mind blown or explosion or domination or something, just to OMG it a little.
Yeah, there you go, man. the money robot supernova.
Supernova thermonuclear explosion.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's get back to some of these questions. Mary asks, Joe, will you be going over retargeting pixels and how you place your short codes in these long tail sites tonight, or is that in next videos you're working on?
That's a juicy one.
Yeah, I already did those videos, and I gave them to David, so he should be posting those shortly, I guess. But yeah, those it's like an introduction to retargeting, and I think we'll be going to be talking more and more about retargeting as the weeks and months progress. So, but yeah, I go into showing how I set that up for this particular site. And then Norman, the local explosion software is in Project XJ breakthrough area, and I think Chris gives out 5 free runs, meaning like this site I did was 1 run. So he gives out 5 of those. So, I mean, you could test it without ever having to pay anything. I gotta probably shut my sound up here. Let's see. So Norman asked, do you guys get a bunch of hosting accounts to switch up IPs, or is SEO hosting or Host9 good enough?
Man, that is not my expertise. And I'll tell you, I hate Host9 and SEO hosting both. It just confuses me, and I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me too.
Well, Fletch, what do you do? I know we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, I've got, well, I think right now I'm using about 9 or 10 different hosting companies. It's one of those things that's like practice. Practice isn't where the money's made, as far as the fan's concerned, but it's really where the work's put in that puts you a step ahead of everything. So it's kind of one of those things that I hate WHMs at all. I despise even every time I have to log into it, but it's one of those necessary evils. And, especially when everybody's WHM looks a little different and it behaves a little differently. I don't think Host9 is really robust or safe enough, just because of some potential footprint issues to put that many resources into it. Joe, I think you talked about doing dollar hosting. I use IP networks and then a combination of about 8 other SEO hosting companies. But the reason I've stayed pretty safe with all that is just because of the records I keep and the diligence I pay when setting all those sites up, that I've not run into any de-indexation issues or whatnot. So I do still have an active Host9 account that we will likely be phasing out in the next quarter sometime, but they're not on the top of my list for the best companies for PBNs, and certainly not for money sites either.
Yeah, I've used Host9 for a while also, and back in the day it was that's what we used, and then it really leaves too much of a footprint. They do give you separate IPs, but you can't hide that name server, and so it's not, and like Fletch says, I use a lot of dollar hosting, and it works for me. Dollar hosting works for me. It's cheap because you got to pay for the full year. It's $12. It's not the greatest hosting. I wouldn't recommend it for money sites, but I think Fletch said, what was that, IP Network? Fletch you used?
Yeah, that's a company that Gregor Ortiz put me onto, well, just before the first of the year, and we gave them a shot. And I've got about a little over 200 sites over there now, so they're
Wow.
a good solution. They're very footprint cover up hosting company, and their dashboard is the most intuitive one that I've found. For managing multiple sites with the security measures in place that we need, kind of as SEO professionals that are managing network sites that are going to be linked to one another. So
What is that address? It's IP Network? Is it just IP Network?
it's IP Networks, but I think it's IP dash NETWORX.
Okay.
Yep, and I think it's .com. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I remember you told me about this. So I'm actually gonna try this out. So,
Yeah.
And look, with SEO, with this stuff, it's all, sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes it works for a while. So you have to be flexible. But yeah, I really like doing this.
We've had a major project over the last 2 months we moved like 150 sites from hosting accounts and spruced them all up, went back through and got all the current settings we needed and redesigned them and everything else. Sometimes it's just, this is one of those maintenance things that when you do start to put together a solid network, you want to take care of it, and you also want to be able to access it without a lot of hassle. I found just in life, if it's one of those things that's just monumental pain in your butt to go do, that you'll put it off, and taking care of your sites is not something you really want to put off. So working with easy interfaces and stuff like that is something that's pretty high on my list.
All right. That's awesome. Okay, great. So let's see what
So
we
a few
have.
people are asking about where to get access to Local Explosion. Is that on the market right now?
Yeah, well, it's in their members area.
It is. Okay.
It's under, I think it's site structure. Yeah, I don't know.
It's site structure. It's the very last link on that page.
All
On
right.
site structure. Yeah, in both, I believe that's in both X, well, it may be all the way back in X. I know it's in Juggernaut and Breakthrough, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's in X2s. I don't think it's in Director's Cut, though.
No, I don't think so. No.
All right. And then, yeah, and you could also probably message Chris Marshall, too. He could probably point you in the right direction. Okay, let's see. Jamie Randall asks, I have the HostGator hosting plan that allows you to add unlimited domains. Can I put all my money sites on here using the add domain tool? I guess if I did this, all of them would be using the same IP. Yeah, so, when you get a hosting account, like with HostGator, you can get like the Baby Gator. I don't know what they're calling them now, but, you can get like a shared hosting account with one cPanel. And you could add a lot of domains on there. But the problem is they're all going to be sharing the same IP and the same cPanel. So if you're in the same niche and you're linking from PBNs to those, you're going to have a huge footprint. So you can get like a reseller hosting that you can get separate cPanels, but still you're going to be sharing the same IP. So that's why usually what we do is we'll get separate hostings. Sometimes if it's a niche where maybe I'm have an affiliate site on, panic attacks and I have a mold removal page, I might put those on the same hosting because they're totally not related. All right, so let's see. Connie Bent says, I completed 3 unique projects in Money Robot and have all the URLs and accounts. I have GSA and just want to know what you recommend as the safest type of links to blast at these URLs. All right. So Connie, what I'm saying, so you took the Web 2.0s that you got out of Money Robot and you wanted to backlink those. Anyone could jump in on this too. I've done that before with GSA, but I'm not really using GSA that much anymore. But I would make sure that GSA is at least 4 tiers away from your money site. And this is also something that you could bring up on Network Empire, because I know they talk about that. But I don't know, Brian or Fletch, I don't know if you have an opinion on that.
I don't do it. I just don't do it. I just run I don't do it. I run Money Robot campaigns and build the Web 2.0 sites. I don't do it.
Yeah, I do some automated link building still, but like Joe said, it needs to be 4 hops from anything you want to rank. And unless you're really paying attention to what those hops really mean, it's something that's much more advanced than a PBN model, or a Web 2 model. You know, if you've got those things going and they're not working, in all likelihood you just haven't done that. You know, to my way of looking at it, build good content, get some natural stuff going, you know, kind of juice up the social, the directory sites, and you know, you can do a lot with that. If you're not making money yet, don't get too carried away with those kind of things that really eat up a lot of your time and you know, cost money every month operating them and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, one tip with Money Robot would for this person who asked this question, what you could do, you could use Money Robot to add power to like a Tumblr, or if you're doing local, you could use it to add power to like a Manta or a Yelp listing. So that's something that I've done very effectively. Again, with the caveat, put out really good content using the tool.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Brian, you got to get going, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I got to stop. I've got 15 scouts coming over to the house tonight. We're doing what's called a shakedown. We're getting ready to go backpacking for 3 days in the mountains of California. So, I got to jump and take care of my my scoutmasterly duties.
All right. All right. Well, that sounds good, Brian. Well, thanks a lot for coming on.
My pleasure.
And maybe we can get like a thank you in the Facebook page, man, for Brian for coming on. You know, he gave us some nice tips, and we're going to be hitting that module up. Yeah, maybe I'll get with you this week, and me and Brian got something special planned here in the next few weeks or so too. So, but all right, so we'll let you go, Brian. Thanks again. All right, bye.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, Fletch, just me and you.
Well, a little more room in the room, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, sorry I was late. The daylight savings time recently, Arizona doesn't do, so I'm still, I got to keep track of whether we're mountain or Pacific, and I was wrong, so I had to go run and grab kiddo from school. So I definitely, apologize for being a little late, but yeah. This is cool, good stuff. I always like jumping on your sessions, Joe.
Oh yeah, no, I love having you. I mean, wealth of knowledge. It's like, so hey, we had a hot seat. So what I want to do, if somebody wants a hot seat, we got Fletch on here, man. So if you got the courage, come on, we'll bring you on, man. So hopefully we can get another hot seat going.
Yeah, that'd be good. It's one of those things. It's not comfortable, but it's good. It's kind of like working out, or just getting up on stage and delivering a talk or something like that. Sometimes it just has to be done. So yeah, we're it's certainly your session, but we're willing to not only answer any questions, but also try to go through something live like that. That'd be great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, all right. I think we got a couple of volunteers here. Yeah, because I mean, really, and then when you come on, don't feel like I've been on that end, right, where you guys are right now. People are talking, and you're like, man, I don't know if what I got to even, it's so simple. I shouldn't even be asking that, or are people going to think I don't know what I'm doing? Well, that's what we're here for. Is we were all at a point where we didn't know exactly what to do. So, coming on live, it's a way for you to get one-on-one attention that you wouldn't normally get. So, let's see. Let me see if I got any. Okay. Let's see. All right. So I'm looking at the question box right now. I want to see if we got somebody who wants to come on. So just type it in there. Hot seat, Michael. So I would like. Okay, so Stefan Saunders has a site he wants us to check out live. So I'm going to bring on Stefan. So Stefan, do you have a microphone? Because I'm going to unmute you right now. Hopefully you're somewhere. Yes, okay. Let's, all right. Hey, Stefan, how's it going?
All right, how are you doing?
Good.
How you doing, Fletch?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Good to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so Stefan, what is it? Is that right, Stefan, right?
Actually, Stephen, but that's close enough. It doesn't bother me.
Stephen. All right, Stephen. What is it that we can help you with?
Okay. I have actually two sites. This is my secondary site, the ChristianAccompanitTracks.net. But my first site, Saunders Music Company, I originally started with the first wave of NHB back in 2012. Was able to, get on the first page for the set of keywords I was going after. My primary site was earning maybe around 7,000 or 8,000 a month, and then the secondary site was doing around 1,000, maybe 2,000 a month. So it wasn't bad, and considering especially I had not done much SEO on the Christian Accompaniment Track site, it ranked solely just on the domain itself. And I admit I did slack off after that as far as staying engaged with OMG techniques and keeping it on top of the rankings because, it was just doing so well on its own. But I later found out that I was penalized on both sites. And so currently I have Saunders Music Company. It's still penalized, still working on that, and as a matter of fact, have it under review right now. I was able to get the Christian Accompaniment TracksNet out of penalty based on some suggestions that Greg gave me. But now, after, I think I may have asked, I can't remember who, in the previous webinar, what I should do from here, because they said whatever I do, I need to be very careful not to have it go back into penalty.
Well, what was your penalty for? Was it for linking? Was it for spam? Was it for content?
I think it was unnatural linking.
Okay.
But I didn't have that many backlinks. Matter of fact, when Greg looked at it in a previous webinar, he said, yeah, there's not much, as far, I think I may have had like maybe 8 or 9 backlinks going to it. Because again, it was ranking just on the domain itself. And so the message he said to send Google was, hey, this is a real site. I actually provide service for, customers creating these instrumental tracks, blah, blah, blah. And it's sort of the same verbiage that, who was it yesterday? Stephen Floyd. I'm not sure if you all saw his webinar where he said you just sort of play the dummy role.
Right.
Yes. And so, that was the approach I took on it. I just told him, something along those lines, and within a week it was unpenalized. They said it was good to go and it's back. So I guess from here, I'm not sure what steps to take to start ranking again for other keywords and, getting it back on the first page. I think it may be on the, I don't know, I think the second page now, second or third page.
I mean, I would use some, obviously I would try to make sure that if you're using PBNs, that they're of good quality, that you're using unique content on it, that they're niche related, and I mean, there's a lot of different factors. I mean, you just got to be be careful. I don't really know what those other links you were using, where they're from, where they were from, if they're from a bad source. I don't know. What do you think, Fletch?
Yeah, and for me, I mean, the first step when I'm building out a website, especially something like this for you, Stephen, is get the brand built, get that established, get the website done, make sure that you've got kind of the big, 5 to 10, kind of social profile sites like a Google Business, like a Facebook business page, those kinds of things.
Okay.
And then you really use those sites as a piece of syndication, so that I just kind of poked around your site real quick here. All the different song titles and things like that. There's no reason that, since those are all owned by this legitimate business site, you can't post content that's duplicate out to those kind of branded, Twitter, Facebook, Google My Business, all that kind of thing. And what that does is it not only really shows Google that there's a lot more to this site than just a few PBN links as far as activity goes, but it just kind of goes to bolster and kind of uphold the value that this plays kind of on the internet, which is not only the website but other ways that you're going to be able to reach your customers. So those types of things for me not only provide kind of backlinks and really kind of fill out my backlink profile, but they're places that actually get people to click on a link and go back to my website. So I was trying to do some research real quick to just see what was indexed as far as any of that stuff. I don't know whether you've got that in place or not, but really before I do anything with PBNs, I get that stuff built, kind of connected, and start some activity that way. And then really just keep that. There's ways to set it up pretty much on autopilot. If you watch that one feed,
IFTT.
Yeah, IFTT. Just get Hootsuite, IFTT, SendWire, any of those things set up so that your content gets out to those branded pages. And then not only can you use your PBN to link directly to your site, if you're trying to rank for specific song titles or broader money keywords, but you can also send PBN links through those branded social sites that will not only pump up that and give you potential for kind of first page domination, but that link juice will then flow to the actual site itself. So that's kind of the strategy.
And when I link back, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when I link back, make sure I'm starting, I guess, with generic anchor text or branded anchor text, or what?
I would use branded, yeah, because you've got an EMD there. If you use just the naked URL, leave your keyword anchor text out. Don't even have anchor text. Just use your naked URL. You'll be in good shape because that is a money keyword. It's an EMD. And if you follow that, I do that with a lot of my sites. A lot of my local lead generation sites are set up that way. And Google can't really give you a big penalty if you're just linking a naked URL. And if that naked URL happens to have the keywords in it, that's something that we know that a lot of other people don't. So I'm still kind of a fan of getting keywords in your domain name just for that purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right.
I know if you go through something like that too, you're probably, just kind of, if I was put myself in your shoes, you're probably a little gun shy about kind of getting heavy on, more aggressive links. That'll really kind of disperse it all and make it look a lot more natural.
Okay.
Not only with something like this, I remember you were involved with OMG even before I was. You were somebody that I watched on
I was the very first wave that came through.
Yeah, man, that was cool. That was cool. So it's neat to see that this is still something that you're working with and keeping alive and keeping going. So things like this, they happen from time to time. So yeah.
Yeah, and I hate that I kick myself in the butt now that I look back. I should have followed through with what Greg said when he first started talking about PBNs. This was 2012, and but in hindsight, I see that it's a learning lesson, and I'm just going to have to take it from there. Luckily, I had enough clients, enough of a client base built up to where even though I lost a lot of the traffic, I had a lot of return visitors.
Right. So that's another thing that really legitimizes your brand. It's something that it starts to get really built up, and you start to incorporate those branded social sites. In all likelihood, you won't have any problems with any kind of weird penalties or manual reviews or anything like that moving forward. Those are all really natural signals. that now Google is able to do more with, just because they've got the technology in place.
Sure.
Even a year ago, they really were not set up to watch the on page the way they're able to now. So those things are good.
Yeah, I remember, Stefan, I remember too. I remember being on an NHB before I joined. I remember that Greg brought you live your site. I remember one of your sites. It was Christian. It must have been you. It was a Christian music site, and he was right. He brought you live, and I thought, man, and it was like a free webinar. I wasn't even part of NHB yet, and so yeah, that goes way back.
Yeah, that was my primary site, Saunders Music Company, the one I was speaking of initially.
Yeah. And another thing you can look at too is the traffic that you're getting. One thing to look at is even with we've been talking about retargeting. You can easily retarget people that are coming to your site, and like what Fletch said, if you brand your site, brand yourself, and then you apply retargeting to it, people are going to recognize your brand as they go through the internet. As they search the internet. So. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Y'all have a good
all right. All right. So let's see. I want to do one more hot seat here, and then we'll get back to some questions. James Cluster. I don't think I've had James on before. James, do you have a headset? So you said you have a headset, so I could unmute you if you still want to come on. I do. Okay, he's going to plug it in. All right. Well, while he's plugging it in, we can check some of these questions here. I don't know if you've seen any questions, Fletch, that kind of stood out.
I'm scrolling through those real quick here.
Okay, so here's Spencer has a question here about sending money to YouTube videos using Money Robot. Have you had any problems sending too much? I don't know. I don't like to send money to my YouTube videos. I like it to send money to me. But I'm thinking you're saying sending links, I think is what he meant, to the YouTube videos. Usually what I like to do is I like to get my video embedded on some Web 2.0s. That's where, IFTT comes in, or embedding it on some PBNs. Or SendWire, but SendWire, if you have it, if you don't have it, I don't think it's I think it costs like $200 or $300. You can copy the same thing that SendWire does with IFTTT for free. And Money Robot, I'll run probably a couple of campaigns. I'll spread them out, and I'll make sure that my video is embedded. And then I'll put a link. So maybe one campaign I'll embed the video with a link, and another campaign I'll just embed the video. And because your link is in the video embed, it's just not quite as powerful as the link. And usually that's enough to push my video up. So. And then Brian Jones wants to know the difference between GSA and Money Robot. I've used GSA but got scared with too complex. Yeah, Money Robot's way safer and it's easier. I talk about Money Robot just because it's pretty user-friendly, and you're basically creating Web 2.0s that are pretty safe to your money site as long as you don't overdo the anchor text. GSA, you can really cause yourself some problems if you don't know what you're doing with it. So, if you're just a beginner, Money Robot or even Magic Submitter is probably a good way to go. All right, let's see. Let's go down here. All right, let me see if James. Okay, James says he's good to go, so let's bring him on. Let's see here. Trying to find him.
Hello.
Hey, James, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, good.
Thanks for bringing me on.
All right. So, James, what can we do for you?
So I have a site. I messaged you the URL, but it's a divorce attorney site, and that I've been kind of building and working on. for California, and I started about 3 weeks ago, and I basically just started doing a lot of research on like long-tail keywords for city-specific searches for divorce attorneys, and I've been building out the page, and I guess I'm kind of just not sure where to go next or what the best methodology is, because I frankly kind of started with the thought from something I had seen in one of Alex Becker's SourceWave videos, and then I've been in OMG since October, so I've been trying to kind of apply all the OMG methods to that, but just the concept of basically making all these pages, and then once they're ranked, calling local divorce attorneys and renting the pages to them is kind of the concept. So if you go to the center, the Find Your Attorney tab right there in the middle of the page, that's where I've started building out my first 5 city pages.
Oh, let's find an attorney?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so your goal is to create a page, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this will be your Anaheim page. You want to rank this in Anaheim,
Yes.
for divorce attorney, and then rent out this page.
Right.
Okay. So so this is something similar, like Find Law. You ever seen that when you're doing your searches, right?
Yes.
So they're a big site that does some, not similar to this, but they're bigger, but that's some of the competition you're going to have. All right, so there's a couple of things. One thing with this, I do a lot of lead gen, but personally I stay away from the lawyer niche, only because it's hard for me to brand it. Because we have to think of is when you rank this on page 1, I think you can rank it on page 1. It's going to be, you have to have a plan for how you're going to rent out this site when it gets there.
Right.
And, do you have a plan for getting it rented yet, or are you going to try to rank it first and then see what happens?
I was going to try to rank it first, and then start doing some calls. I've been kind of putting a list together of lawyers that are in the area for each of the cities, and then basically was going to rank the page, and I was potentially thinking about actually adding my own call-in number, like getting a number from Twilio or something like that, and actually seeing if calls were coming in, and then trying to sell the calls to local attorneys. But I was also, thinking that maybe it would just be a matter of branding the page once it was ranked with, an image and a phone number for whatever lawyer, decided to rent it from me.
Okay. So the thing is you probably want to put a tracking number on there, and as it starts ranking, start recording the phone calls, even if you don't have a divorce attorney. I would definitely start recording the calls.
Okay.
Let me see. I have a few things I have in mind here, but I want to get Fletch. Were you popping in and out? Were you wanting to say something?
Yeah, no, I thought I had the mic off and it was on, and then I did it twice. So no, I was just letting you kind of go through what you were thinking right there. Yeah.
All right, I'll give you a rundown what I'm thinking. Fletcher can then give you what he's thinking, and like I said, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, whether you're doing lead gen or renting out a site or anything. So in what I think of, if I'm going to rent a site, say for divorce attorneys, and I'm going to be renting out the pages, do I want to sell the leads as a call, or do I want to rent the pages? If I'm going to sell the leads, the calls that come in, I'm going to want to somehow brand that site so that so that it looks like a legitimate divorce attorney site. Because if it doesn't look like a legitimate site, people aren't going to be to call it, right? If you go to a site, you're looking for a divorce attorney, what do you want to know? You want to know about that divorce attorney. You want to know,
Right.
okay, you know, what are his qualifications? Who's he helped? Is he going to help me? It's not like a plumbing site or, you know, a mold site or a carpet cleaning site that is just somebody coming out performing a service and they're gone.
Right.
If you want to rent it out, then I guess when you rent it out, you could brand each page to that specific attorney. So, you know, I mean, you can do that. You just have to figure out the right price point, because you're not leasing them an entire site. You're leasing them a page on the site.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, are they going to have a problem with being in Anaheim and then the guy in Orange County is not him? Or, you know, like there's all those little nuances you have to figure out when you're doing something like this. But I guess I should ask you, what was there a specific question you had? I think I'm just giving my opinion. I don't know if you had a specific question
No,
I'm missing.
I'm happy to hear just your opinion in general. I guess I kind of wanted to make sure I was going in the right direction with the on page and stuff as well, and then just to kind of get a basic idea maybe where you and Fletch thought I should go next, as far as, you know, like you said, like what maybe the methodology I should be using for the page is.
I mean, so your plan is like for Anaheim, right? So this is the content that you're going to use, right? Is this unique, or is this
That is unique. Yes.
This is all unique. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is some unique content, and when you get it ranked, your plan is to change out this content and put the person's content in here.
Yes, I could, or I could just, brand the page for whoever is renting it out and leave that content on there in addition to that, because I don't know if that would affect the rankings if I were to then take all that stuff off that had helped get it, you know, ranking, replaced it with, you know, brand new stuff, or if I can, you know, mix the two and make the top of the page focused on whoever it is who's renting out the page, but leave that material there.
Yeah, and who is this good content? I didn't read it, but did you have it? Is it written like where it's, if someone reads it, it's going to make sense, it's going to make them want to call the divorce attorney, or is it just like some content you got off iWriter?
No, it's specific. It's all tip based, but it is specific. It is specific to what it was written for this site.
All right, because the one thing I like to do anyway is the content I put on my money pages or my city pages, I want that to be conversion copy. I want it to be able to, when people come on, I don't want it to read just like a blog post. I want it to lead them to a call to action. I want to lead them to picking up their phone, to giving a call. I want it to position my client or myself or whatever as the expert, right? So that's one thing with what I would say with this content. Aesthetic-wise, you know, I would probably, this banner is pretty big. It at least on my computer here, and I know if it's just my computer, but it takes up all above the fold.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely try and you know, maybe get some content in between here and above the fold. Maybe, like Fletch said before, create some social properties here, you know, and then, I don't know, it looks like you got your keywords in here, okay. So, I don't know, what do you think, Fletch? If he's still there.
I'm still here. Yeah, I just had to talk to my wife real quick. I caught part of what you said, Joe, and then, you know, for me, the first thing I think about before I start projects now is really that brand, and it's a generic term almost now. I really start to think about like I, you know, talked about on the webinar, if anybody was on last night, you know, the big shift for me came when I started thinking about the value I could provide as opposed to the money I could earn. And, you know, there's a couple niches I really have not worked in at all. up to this point. One was medical, one was the law niche. And, you know, with the stuff that happened recently with my dad, I started looking around. It's like there's just a bunch of stuff out there of people that are obviously just trying to make money and not trying to provide value, or not, you know, really thinking through the value they could potentially provide. So, you know, the first thing that jumped out at me kind of on these inner pages, and not even trying to be harsh at all, but, you know, if I were in a situation, God forbid, that, you know, I had to do this search on Google, you know, what would I be looking for? You know, and there are certain people who are like, you know, I'm going to really stick it to, you know, my spouse and get everything I can. And there are certain people who are sad and they just want to be taken care of. And there are other people who might be, you know, in some other, you know, unknown, you know, kind of state of mind. And, you know, any given attorney, regardless of their skill, is not necessarily the person who's going to be able to connect with all of those different kind of customers. And so with just kind of looking at like the banner ad and reading a little bit of the text and stuff like that, I know that you talked about wanting to change that when you do get an attorney rented out, but to get really a brand built that you are the one providing value, not only to the person who's searching, but to your customer that's going to be renting and receiving the phone calls from something like this, it's something that you kind of just have to pick and go one direction with. And if it doesn't work, you might need to pick kind of a different brand or a different, you know, kind of market to serve. Not really market, but, you know, a different segment of that market to serve in a different way. So that's the first thing that kind of jumps out at me. Overall business strategy, I've got sites like this, and they work. So it's certainly something that you're on the right track with. But I would definitely think a little bit more maybe about the specific kind of design elements in the copy and stuff that are going to really give you the ability to serve somebody that is you know, on your site, and also then because you've been able to serve them, it's that much easier for you to go sell an attorney, because you've got those phone calls Joe talked about, get a tracking number up, get those recorded. You know, the first 3 or 4 messages you've recorded that you let an attorney listen to, that you're saying, hey, I want to charge $1,500 a month for this page. Well, why should I pay you that? Well, in the last 30 days, these were the calls that we got. You know, these are people who, you know, are very close to being your customer. So, you know, hopefully I didn't cover. I had to kind of mute myself a little bit, and hopefully I wasn't redundant on what Joe said. But those are some of the initial things I was thinking.
No, that's great. Thank you both.
Yeah, no, that's good, Fletch. No, it was. I didn't really cover all that. So, and two, like what Fletch said about the phone calls, you know, you can get a CPA. There are bankruptcy CPA, which is call per action or pay per call, where you can you just go to. Oh, man, I always forget the name of the site. It's a
Offer Vault.
Offer Vault, yeah. And you know, you can sign up. I mean, they're cheap. They don't pay hardly anything, like $20 for the lead. Doesn't matter. You know, put your tracking numbers on, start sending it there. You'll make a little bit of money, but more important, you'll get a recording of the phone call. And it's more than likely going to a place where the people know how to convert the phone call, right? They're getting paid to convert the calls that are come in that they're paying $25 for. So you'll have decent phone calls that you can show attorneys, and you know that. I mean, that's what I would do. And two, like what Fletch said, it's branding. Like for me, I brand everything now. You know, I try to make myself look like a real company, because I don't do it. I'm not in the lawyer net, so it's kind of a hard one for me, just because I haven't done it and it's a little outside of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, if you could brand this. Almost like something like you could try to brand it, something like Find Law. You know, I don't know if you could brand this like California Attorney Office, right? Because you're not an attorney, so I don't know what the laws are.
Right.
Right? But I would try to make it look as legit as possible. You know, and a little bit of design into it. A little more design will go a long way. And like when you look at it, think about like if I saw this site, you know, what I call it, you know, and that, you know, that's kind of what I go off of.
Okay. Can I ask one more question, and then I don't want to take up everybody's time.
Sure.
Just on the first page, if you go back out to just the finddivorceattorneycalifornia.com, I have two other sections that are like meant to kind of give some extra information. Like there's a PDF a downloadable PDF that I had made that's available to people who are looking, and then there's also like a quick like 5 things you should know, which I was designing to help bring some value to the site. But I guess my question is, should I not have is that distracting to have pages like this? Is that taking away from the work that I should be doing on the individual pages, and also trying to rank those pages versus sending any kind of link juice to like this main page and those sub pages? Should I just be focused on my attorney pages? Is it helpful to have these things?
I mean, so as a site, right, having these, it's good to show you as an expert, right? You know what you're talking about. You're not just a lead gen site.
Right.
So, like I try to avoid as much as possible the lead gen site, right? Because that's what everyone does. And so yeah, I mean, I would adjust this maybe, these, 5 things, fine. You can have that there. People could look at it. I would work it into the whole look of the site. I don't think it's detracting.
Okay.
But I would focus on, number one, I would focus on building something right here. Like get rid of this huge header. Either have your call to action up here, make a logo, have a logo here, have this look better. I would try to have this look a little maybe shorter. I mean, if you want to put a slider, maybe have a video made. You can have a video made for $60, animated video, and stick that there. Do something like that that's engaging when people come. And that way they stay on your site too. Like if I found this site, right, and I go to this homepage, I don't really know what's going, I mean, I'm sure it's not finished, but you have this 5 things here, but I don't know, by looking at this, I can't tell what that is. Right. So maybe you have a box here with a number 5 or something that says 5 things you should know. Find an attorney in your area. I wouldn't do 2 of these. I would just do 1 of these information things here. I'd have, and like I said, I have a phone number. I'd have a contact box. Tell us about your case. Tell us about your case. And you could set up a contact box where they can put their information. They can choose a city. And then when they hit send, whatever city they choose, it'll send it to a certain email. Okay. Right? And you can record that. So there's different things you can do to try and engage people. I mean, that's
okay.
what. I mean, what do you think, Fletch?
Yeah, same kind of thoughts. The one thing you don't want to do with any of your customers or visitors is confuse them. So whether you leave all 3 or go to 2. I would try to make it like, okay, you landed someplace, your initial impression is, okay, I'm in the right place, and then very simple instructions of what to do. So you could even change, the kind of font awesome stuff that you've got there to like step 1, step 2. Like step 1, find your attorney. Step 2, call them. Step 3, download this PDF so you know what to talk to him about, or something like that.
That's great.
And just be real simple, real straightforward, no ambiguity. You still get to provide the value, but you've been very like, okay, you're in the right place. Now do these 2 things, and the process will kind of take over from there.
That's great. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Fletch, I got a question for you.
What's up, buddy?
So let me see. I just want to mute him right here. Okay. So I do lead gen, right? So I just sell the leads with the phone number. I don't rent out pages. When you rent out pages, do you ever run into an issue where people are upset that this other guy has a page, or like, you know, or determining a price for it, or is it easier to rent a page out than to sell leads, or what?
I won't say it's easier. It's different. You know, each of those situations is kind of your ability to figure out, and you know, like Con talks about, is to really, you know, start with the amount of money somebody's not getting because they're not found on Google, and then essentially what you're doing is being able to tell a story. This is why I choose to do this business model. With almost all my construction stuff I do, it's pay per lead. You know, somebody pays me for a phone call or a form fill or whatever it is. When we're getting into medical now, we're doing more of a monthly rental situation. So it makes sense because it is not only a little less transactional for a doctor or a surgeon or something like that, but in all likelihood with something like that that's much more serious, that takes a little more, you know, I would assume people spend a little more time researching. You know, if they're found #1 on Google, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the only person that's going to get a call. You know, you're probably going to get the first call if you're right, but somebody's probably, you know, going to poke around and see who else is on that first page or has good reviews or anything like that. So in medical, the reason I've gone kind of with a different business model, which is kind of the page rental situation, is because I spent some time really thinking about that, talking to a couple surgeon people that I know, a friend that I went to school with that is an orthopedic surgeon, and really just asking him more about kind of the marketing that his clinic does, the way they kind of make decisions and how they weigh things. And it just seemed like it was going to make more sense to say, you know, here's a fixed price. This is going to help build your brand up because we'll go in and kind of customize each of the pages. We rank them, but then once somebody takes over the payment on the specific pages, we go in and actually, you know, brand that, put their personal photos on it and things like that. So to me, it just depends on not only kind of your personality, but your ability to kind of justify or tell the story of why that's the model of your business. And if it has something to do with understanding that your customer or client is kind of set up or suited to those kinds of things and will benefit best from that, I think it works. If you don't really have a reason, you're just kind of like, I don't know, you know, give that some thought, because I think you know, they both have a place, not only kind of with people and what they want to sell, but really for the types of customers and businesses that we want to work with. You know, different niches, different kind of personalities, different products, services, or what have you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And too, it makes sense what you're saying, like I do a lot in the construction niche, service niche, so it's phone calls. But, you know, for lawyers, surgeons, doctors, dentists, all that stuff, people want to know who they're dealing with. So that's where renting pages makes a lot of sense. And, you know, so, all right, great. So let's see here. Let's hit some of these questions we got here. Anthony Y asks, I have a client who has a number of YouTube videos as well as some social pages ranking in the top 3. The curious thing is that when we look at his analytics, both his Google Analytics and Yahoo, there doesn't seem to be any traffic reported. These are money keywords that he's getting traffic from on his site. Is it possible that no traffic is generated from the videos and the social pages? Videos have annotations to link out to his site about 30 seconds in. So what Anthony's asking basically here is this client has the social properties in the top 3 positions, and he's not seeing any referral links from those social properties to the money site in his analytics. Here's the thing is, if the phone number's on those social properties or on that YouTube video, people may just be calling that phone number. So what you could do is put a tracking number on each of those properties. You can put one tracking number for all 3 properties, or mix it up, you know, different number on each property maybe. You know, I mean, that's one way to do it. and the analytics, you have to make sure you're looking in the right place. You're looking under the referral. I find that, we do get calls from Yelp, especially we'll rank a Yelp page. We'll get calls from that. I'll get calls from the videos also. I usually put a tracking number. I usually put a different number sometimes on the videos, and then I do have on my money site, so I can kind of gauge it. So, and I don't know. Fletch, you got anything to throw in on that? Or maybe not. So I don't know. That's what I would say. Is I would say to put a tracking number on there if you can, to see. But if he's to see if he's exactly what's happening. All right. And you could also look at the analytics. I think I don't know if you can. You can look at in YouTube. You can see if people are watching the video. You can look at the likes and you can see if you're getting any traction that way. So George O'Brien asks, what if you added a banner ad to local explosion or SERP shaker? You can do that. You can add a banner ad. Where do you put the social links? You can put the social links anywhere you want. You can put them on the top, in the sidebar, on the bottom. Joanne says, why would you have social properties above the fold? Wouldn't I encourage people to go off the site? Having social properties is part of your brand. If they go to your Facebook page or your Twitter, they're just going to see more about your brand. I don't really worry about it. I don't go think that deep. If they see what they like on the page, and I have a phone number, they're going to call it. I don't think it really matters if your social stuff's on the top or the bottom. Can you use Money Robot with a branded naked anchor text? John, you can. I do it. What I do is in the box where you put your anchors, I drop in just the naked URL. So say if I have a list of 5 keywords, I might drop in 3 branded keywords. So say the brand is Superior Mold Removal. So I put in Superior Mold Removal 3 times, and I might put my naked link in 3 times. So that way they're showing up more than, say, my money keyword. Let's see. Carrie says, how do you make a lead gen site look real when you don't have any names to put in for an attorney or whatever the service is? For me, what I do is I make up a brand. I make a logo, I make a brand. So I don't make the brand really complicated. I'll make it like if it's plumbing, it'd be Superior Plumbing, or sheetrock, Superior Sheetrock, or I wouldn't put like the best. I would just make it simple so that when people will call those leads, it's Superior Plumbing. There's a whisper in the phone, which is when people call from the website. There's when they call the contractor knows where the call is coming from, because before they hear the person on the other line, there's a little what they call a whisper that says, Superior Plumbing lead, and then he knows, okay, this is coming from the Superior site, and they'll say, hey, is this Superior Plumbing? Yeah, this is Joe's Plumbing. I work with Superior, well, and then it goes on from there. So I try to make it brandable but simple. So see, another question here is, how do you handle building out a professional site with an avatar to get it verified and then branding the site to someone else? All right, so if you're going to brand it, so hey, Fletch, you still there?
Yes, I am.
All right, so I think this one might be pointed to you by Tom James about how to handle building out a professional site with an avatar to get it verified and then branding it to someone else.
Yeah, so there's the thought behind it, or the kind of the methodology, or kind of mental model of it. Just because you're the person that built the site out, that is going to be maybe the name in some of those accounts, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be kind of the marketing personality behind it. So you can have a lot of things that you just have to put some kind of avatar name on that are not necessarily going to be the easiest way to brand something. Ideally, if you've got a chiropractor that's named Tom James, all the social profiles associated with that are Tom James DC. But what you could also do is just say, okay, I am Joe Schmo, and I'm setting up Tom James Chiropractic. And okay, so that means all of the profile names that I'm going to set up for my social directory sites, and the name of the business or the pages or whatever are going to be branded as such. And then you can rank kind of for whatever the brand is going to be. It doesn't necessarily mean the name of the person is going to be on that, but it doesn't it leaves you a lot of open room. So the one thing when you're setting up the website's one. You own the website, you control the website, you can do anything you want with the website. But what I do when I'm setting up kind of the WR1, if you're familiar with terminology for Network Empire, or what I would just say your branded stuff, the stuff that is you. The name and the avatar don't necessarily have to be the driving forces for the brand. And if you're going to do a rank and rent model, you can always kind of do that to set it up and get it ranked. And then once you get somebody that's a paying client, if you get a setup fee, or you get a month up front, or a couple months up front, or a 6-month contract, you can just go in and build up a whole other thing for them, as far as another WR1 that's associated with that website. So that's kind of how I would approach it. For the most part, though, if you don't have to do that, just have it be branded. Don't have it necessarily be associated with the name. Have it be associated with the website's name.
Yeah, and I think, too, it really is, you have to plan out what you're doing. I mean, before you put up a site, you got to think, do I want to do calls, or do I want to rent? If I rent, these are my disadvantages and my advantages. If I do calls, these are my advantages and my disadvantages. There's no perfect world. It's just you have to figure out what you want to do, and then go from there. All right, so all right. So let's see. Tracy says, why not pick a professional and drive business to them? Then when you ramp it up, call them and sell it to them, or rebrand it. So, I mean, you could pick say a dentist and then drive traffic to them, but you got to remember too, Tracy, if you build a site for, Dr. Floyd's dental, whatever, and he says, look, I don't want your leads, you're going to have to redo it. So, I mean, you could do it. You just have to look at, okay, what happens if he says no? Am I putting all this in for someone who's not doing anything? Or can I just go to a few network meetings and get myself out there and then pick up a client? Yeah, I mean, you could. She says, can you put another name on the site? I mean, you can. Yeah, you can do that. When I first started, I was in the dental niche, and I ranked dental sites, and I rented those sites out. I mean, that's back in 2011, and so I would rent them out. I would just put them up, like say Encinitas Dentist, and then I would get the dentist, and I would put his name, his banner on there, his pictures, and I would upsell him into a $10,000 upfront contract. I think at the time I was at $1,000 a month to rebrand his site and do all his stuff. So he'd be getting leads from this lead site as I was working on his stuff on the back end. So you can do it. It's just make the plan and think it through, and then you know, and then take action on it. Eric asked if dentists were willing to buy leads. You know, at the time I didn't do leads. I didn't sell them leads. I just rented the site. But I veered away from dentistry because it was just I don't know. It was easier for me to get into construction because that was my background. So Shane asks, have either of you built a whole business in a box with lead gen, social profiles, marketing videos, and then rent to purchase, sell it? You know, I know me both, I think Fletch too, we both build out lead sites that are pretty extensive with social sites and videos. You know, I rent the leads right now. I haven't at this time yet sold an entire national lead gen site or set of sites. It's something you can do. It's one of the end goals I have, but I have not done that. I don't know if you have, Fletch.
Yeah, I have. The first year I was involved, I was digging out of a lot of debt, and there were times I just needed some big chunks of money to pay stuff off. I sold about 20 websites that were all kind of semi-branded in one specific vertical that one company was buying, that I just sold out 20 money sites and about 30 other kind of social profiles and Web 2.0 properties and things like that last year. Or not, that was actually the first year I was involved, so 2 years ago. I have not done that again since, because the one thing I would need to put in place in addition to just selling that, just understanding the fact that Google changes so readily, is that yes, I will sell you this, but here is my retainer contract to keep these things ranking. So it's a great business model. It's a way to get not only a lot of money as you're ramping it up, but a big chunk at the end of the day too. It's kind of an exit strategy on your websites and all that kind of thing, but just me really thinking through, this is not only a transaction, but I would love this customer to be a repeat customer for me and to give me testimonials if I decide to do this more. Having a way to make sure that they continue to get the most out of what they purchased is something that I would do, and that would be kind of that retainer, you know, consultant addition to that model.
Yeah, and the good thing about having your own stuff is you can sell it if you want.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's it, man. Well, guys, we're coming on 2 hours, and I actually got to go. I got to go pick up my in-laws from the airport. So it's 10 right now. So we got to head out. But how about everyone thank Fletch for coming on? Maybe we give him a hashtag thanks Fletch in the hashtag thanks Fletch in the Facebook. And you know, hopefully we got to all your questions. And the hot seats, you know, I think they really help out not only the people but everybody else. So if I didn't get your question answered, I think we got them all. I was at the bottom here. Just email them to me, or you can message me on Facebook if I didn't answer it, and I'll either message you back or answer it on the next webinar. So, so I guess that's it. I don't know if you have any parting words, Fletch.
No, just awesome stuff as usual, Joe. Always love jumping on these things with you, and appreciate the opportunity. Again, also, I'll have another you know, regular office hour session that I've not scheduled these last 2 weeks just because of my crazy schedule, but that'll be on Tuesday of next week. So
what time Tuesday?
I haven't set it yet. In all likelihood, it'll be about 2 hours before Network Empire's time. So I haven't looked at when they are, but I usually like to be able to have people, if they want, to come on mine, get their questions answered, and then bounce over to Network Empire. So
Yeah.
that'll be how I set it probably.
Yeah, awesome.
Right on, guys.
Fantastic. All right, man. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.